Okay, I'm trying to be timely. I still have not done some things that I'd like to do, but I'm going to do my January 2026 wrap up. Try to be done. So I am trying really hard to focus on my Cart of Shame books. I am going to do an updated video about that, I think, soon. But I finished two that were like properly on the Cart of Shame. Well, I guess I DNF'd one, finished one, and then two that were carryovers from last year. So basically, like anything that I don't finish in the calendar year goes on the Cart of Shame, and then, blah, 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 whatever. Like, goal is to not be keeping books partially read for years and years and years. And at this point, over a decade for some stuff. So, not a good look. Well, maybe that's the wrong phrase, but I would like to change that. So going into the new year, I was listening to an audiobook. In December, I listened to a Lisa Jewell book called None of This Is True, and I actually really liked it. It was very fun, very fast paced, perfect audiobook. You don't have to focus a lot, and it's a good fun time. So then I was like, this is great. I can listen to audiobook thrillers now. What a fun time. So I was like, oh, let me find another Lisa Jewell book. And so last month, or I guess I should say in December, maybe I listened to that, and it doesn't matter. I started and almost finished a new one called Then She Was Gone. And I didn't quite finish it so I'll try to put up a picture of it right here. I didn't quite finish it in December, and so going into January, I was really reading that book and On the Calculation of Volume 3. And I did not want that audiobook to be the first book that I finished of the year, because I was not enjoying it. I guess in retrospect, maybe I'm going to do these books in like order of how I liked them. So I'm going to start with a different book, actually, not this Lisa Jewell book, but I'm going to start with my one and only DNF that was on my Cart of Shame, and that is Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. I started this, I think, for a book club, actually. Most of the books on my Cart of Shame are book club or buddy read related. So anyways, I think I started this for a book club with like some IRL friends, possibly. And I know that everyone's read his other book, The House in the Cerulean Sea, and my neighbor really, really loves that book. So I might try to see if I can get it on audio. But anyways, I just like wasn't gravitating towards this book. I've read another book that has to do with like, passing, in that like particular period, like right after you've died, called The Seventh Day. I think that was an absolutely phenomenal book, and also a lot of this has to do with like the Reaper type people, and I used to love the show Dead Like Me, so this like to me was kind of like a mishmash of those two things that I loved, and so reading this was just not giving me that same love and joy. But basically we're following some guy that's died, and now he's, he needs to like pass through to like some other area, and so this is like him and the Reaper people, who I don't know what they're called. Oh, they're called Reapers in this too. I guess that makes sense, but whatever. He's spending time with these Reapers, and like blah blah blah, there's a dog, there's an old man, who cares? So I wasn't really liking it very much. I thought it was like kind of boring and basic, and I was like, perfect, I'll just get the audiobook version of this so I can just like power through it and just like tick it off my list. But then at a certain point, I was like, I know what's going to happen. Like, he's going to fall in love with the Reaper, and then blah, blah, blah. And then the dad is going to move on, and blah, blah, blah. Sorry, spoiler alert, I guess. But, like, it's so obvious what's going to happen. And I just am not interested in cutesy, feel-good type books. Like, if that's your jam, good for you. It's not my jam. I don't like it when things are wrapped up neatly with a bow and whatever. So I'm just, like, not interested in this kind of story. So I DNF'd it. I am not interested. I will attempt to listen to The House on the Cerulean Sea, but my like the amount of space I'm going to give for it is probably going to be less. So then I started again, I went into the new year listening to Then She Was Gone, which is a thriller about a teenager. Well, I guess it's not it's dual narrative. There's like, we're following the mother's perspective. There's a girl that got snatched when she was young, and it's like telling the story from her kind of perspective, like of like right when she got snatched, kind of, and then the mom present day. This I think happened like 10 years ago. The mom present day, and how she's like met a new guy, and he's got a 10-year-old daughter, and surprise, surprise, where's it gonna go? Who knows? I feel like I'm being so, what's the word? I'm having a lot of negative catty energy right now. I apologize. But it's just like, I just cannot be bothered. It was fine. It was okay. I definitely don't intend on picking up another one of her books now at this point. So it is what it is. I just thought in general, the story was okay. And then I thought that the lead male character, so like the love interest of the mom, his actions, in my opinion, were so unrealistic. I found it offensive how unrealistic his actions are. I don't, again, want to spoil necessarily like what happens, whatever, but I just think that if you knowingly participated in some kind of crime, and I'm not going to say what the crime was, or like if you have information, basically, I just don't think what he did was realistic. Because I don't think that people are that good, and I don't think that men are that good. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that he would have tried harder to COA, in my opinion. So, didn't love that. And then the rest of these books, I actually really liked. Well, I guess Suicide Club is like my next least favorite. The other three that I read, absolute stellar star, like just so good. This one I will say was good. So this is Suicide Club by Rachel Heng. This book has been on my like card of shame for quite a while, and we're living in a like slightly futuristic, maybe not, maybe just like present day, but it's, you know, speculative fiction. If there are certain people that are decided to be like special to be able to live longer, so the government has these like modifications that you can do to your body in order to live longer. So if you, I think they do like some kind of test on you. I don't know if it's like biological or psychological or what, but if you're deemed to be a lifer, or if you're deemed to be like an optimal specimen of human beingness for whatever reason, then you are given these modifications by the government, or maybe you have to pay for them. I don't like 100% understand, but you get the opportunity to modify your body to make it so that you will live longer and be more stunning is the wrong word, but you know, you won't get wrinkles, you won't get liver spots, you won't like, you know, get diabetes or whatever. So like, and they have things like smart blood, so, and like your skin, like diamond skin, so your skin, if you get a cut, it will like self-heal and blah blah blah, whatever. So we're living in that kind of a world where people are not necessarily dying easily, and there's something called a suicide club because sometimes things don't go well. So because all of this has to be government sanctioned, there's obviously people that want to participate in modifications, and so they go to the black market for these modifications, and they're not like always like super great, and then it can basically end up not going well. So there's this group of people that are trying to take a stand or make a statement against this way of life, by doing these really public graphic suicides on camera and like dispersing them to the, you know, to everyone. It's called like Anti-Sanct, and it's like the lives that these people lead that are in the society at large involve, you know, not eating any meat. Basically like the only nutrition they take are NutriPack. So like it's, you know, it's a very controlled way of life. It's called trad cooking, which is like funny because now I feel like trad wives have like, it's like this whole other like meaning, but you know, if you cook proper food, if you drink any like, you know, wine, if you listen to music, it's like a very oppressive society that these people are living in, but the payoff is that you get to live for a long time. So it's like, what is more valuable? Like a happy, like enjoyable life, like quality versus quantity, I guess basically is what the story is going at. And we're following two women, one who is the newly appointed head of the club, which happens towards the beginning of the book, and then the other one is a woman who has been deemed to be on an observation list because of some action she takes. Oh, she like thinks that she sees her dad, so she starts walking into the street because she hasn't seen her dad in like decades or whatever, and so that is viewed as an anti-sanct thing, that she's walking into the street because it looks like she's trying to kill herself, I guess. So that's like the two people that we're following. And so the one person's goal is to get off the observation list, like by all means possible. And the two women, like obviously their paths intertwine and blah, 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 whatever. And then the story happens. So I thought it was really good. It was really interesting. I don't want to say boring, but something about it was slightly boring. Like I didn't feel emotionally attached to any of these characters necessarily. I thought it was totally fine. I probably, I don't know, I may or may not read. This isn't like, I'm like, oh, I'm dying to read more by this author again. Like something about it just wasn't like quite super compelling, but the story itself was interesting. So there's that. Oh, and I did forget, I did read, oh, sorry, you're like on a pile of books because my child broke my stand. I did also read this. This is so cute. So this is one of the ones that Jake got because he works at Dark Horse. So this is Chibi Usagi, Attack of the Heebie-Chibis. And it was so cutie. I've never read Usagi. I'm not interested, but now I am. But, you know, I was looking at this and I was like, oh, they're so cute. And they are so cute. So this is just the story of these 3 friendos who I assume are all in the regular Usagi universe. And they find this little, what's he called, a dogu or something? I think so. I don't remember. But they're all called the same thing. So, what are they called? Are they called dogus? I should know this. Dogu, yes, yeah. So they're these dogus. Their kingdom has been captured by King Salamander, and he enlists our friends to try to like rescue them. And it's so cute. There's like basically no text on the pages. This is just a fun, cute, good time. I did pick this up to read it to the baby. He was not as interested as I was in it, but I thought it was very cute, and I'm pleased that I read that. And then these next 3, I don't even know how to, I think that these are all equally perfect 4.5 star books. So I'll just go based on how I like the order that I read them in. Of course, I read On the Calculation of Volume 3, and this is by, oh, and also all 3 of my favorites are translated, and I think all by small presses. Yes, New Directions, Coffee House Press, and Verso. So again, usually it's a hit for me. This is translated by Sophia Hersey Smith and Jennifer Russell, and it's by Solveig Bale. I still haven't looked up how to say her name, but this is the 3rd in the On the Calculation of series, where this woman is stuck in November 18th, and more things are happening, and I don't want to talk about it other than the second one is, I think, so far my favorite, probably. But this one, things are getting extremely interesting, and I am really, really, really looking forward to the next one. High recommend. If you read the first one and don't love the first one, I think that this series, like especially the first book, I think was like way overhyped. And so I was personally slightly disappointed in the first one, but it's just gotten better since then. And I'm so excited. The writing is perfect. Everything about it is perfect. So then I finished Variations on the Body by Maria Ospina, translated by Heather Cleary. And this is, I think, 6 or 7 short stories. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And they all have to do with like women and their bodies in some fashion. The scissor story is like really interesting. There's this woman who's lost her husband, and she is like, what's it called? She becomes like obsessed with, maybe not obsessed, but she becomes like a hoarder or collector of different types of scissors, which is really interesting. One of them involves this woman being obsessed with these girls that are going to, they either live or go to school in some kind of like convent or nunnery or something. It's like some kind of Catholic building that has nuns with young women living in it. I assume that maybe it has to do with like wayward girls or whatever, but this woman becomes obsessed with these girls, and then there's one in particular that she like has a thing, and so she's like kind of obsessively sending her letters and like reaching out to her, and it gets like really creepy. Super fun. Hold on, excuse me. I'm trying to think, like the other, Collateral Beauty, that one was really good, about this woman who runs an antique doll shop, and so her job is to like, she's the doctor for the dolls, so people bring their dolls in, and she, you know, like fixes their hair or their leg or like their eye or whatever's wrong with them, and she begins a relationship with a person, I think from the United States, who is looking for some specific types of dolls, and so there's like letters back and forth. Anyways, they're all very weird. It's all a very good time. There's nothing about any of these stories is like a crazy plot. It's just like women living their lives in some kind of way and facing some kind of challenge, psychological mostly, and yeah, just like living, just like things are happening. It's not, you know, it's this is why I love short stories, is because of short stories like this. And I feel like this is why people don't like short stories. Like if you like short stories, this is good. And if you don't, I wouldn't recommend these because there's not like this giant plot or through line. A couple of the stories are like a little interconnected. Like the women are show up in like a couple different stories. Like the sister of one is the main character of a different one. And so like, I think that was the first two stories actually. So at first I thought these were interconnected, like it was just like one large plot, but that ended up not being the case. But yeah, I will 100% read more by this author. And the last one is even weirder and stranger and just so fun. This is called The Art of Asking Your Boss for a Raise. This probably is my favorite book of the month now that we're kind of like, now that I'm like thinking about my ranking. This is by Georges Perec, and this is translated by someone, David Bellos, and I don't even know how to describe. I guess this is how I will describe the book. This, what do you call this? Like a flow sheet. So basically it's, you know, so the cover is The Art of Asking Your Boss for a Raise. And on the inside, it says the art and craft of approaching your head of department to submit a request for a raise. And so it had, there's a really good, like intro to the book. Oh my gosh. I just like can't, I just need so bad still. Dang it. So it has to do with Georges Perec deciding to create a story based on how a computer like determines next steps in like a sequence. So, you know, you're going to go to ask your boss for a raise, and either your boss is going to be there or is not going to be there. And if he's not there, then you're going to either walk this way or do this. Like, it's extremely repetitive. The same things are said over and over and over again, but in such a smart way. And like occasionally there are slip ups where he'll put in some kind of like, I don't know, I don't want to say sassy, but something like that is just like extra fun. So this is definitely a very specific book that I would not recommend to everyone, because I think that some people just wouldn't think that it's funny. I think it's absolutely hilarious what he is doing with everything about it. It's just like a super interesting way to construct a story. It is telling you something. It's telling you something about, you know, hopefully this is still recording. My like low battery came up, but telling you something about, I would say, like capitalism, how people like interact in a polite society. I don't know, just lots of different things. And it was so fun, so funny, so smart. I will 100% be reading more books by this author, because I think that he is a genius. Like, I just thought this was so good. Yeah. So it's okay. Yeah, it's if he follows a certain course of action, so this logic goes, he will succeed. But in accepting these conditions, are his attempts to challenge his world of work doomed from the outset? And it's like time is moving forward in the story too, which is really interesting. Like, and I didn't realize, and I didn't remember until right now, you like notice it kind of towards the end, because he like wants this raise, but like now he's getting close to retirement, and it was just so good. Highly recommend Verso. Yeah, so good. Would recommend. So yeah, those are the things that I finished in January. I did start working on Boy Erased, which is another book club book that I started and never finished. So I think I've read like 50 pages of this. I also started Authority by Jeff Vandermeer because I want to be working on my series. And I started reading Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell, which is not for me, but I'm going to finish it because I went to go see the movie with my friends, and I was like, maybe I'll read the book before I go, and I did not. I only read one chapter, but I intend to finish it, so hopefully I can do that this month. Yeah, that's it. Let me know if you've read anything good recently, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.